Right, we got a sad one here. You can see this aircraft in the trees. There was no survivors, and today we'll be going over the NTSB final report. Ketchikan, Alaska, August 5th, 2021. There were 6 fatals on this one, and it was this aircraft here, Dehavilland DHC-2 Beaver, November 1249 Kilo was the tail number, and you can see this was the picture prior to their touring flight. They were getting on this aircraft to go get a look around, and this is what happened on August 5th, 2021. The aircraft went and had 5 passengers and a pilot, and they were fatally injured. The pilot began his duty at 6 o'clock in the morning. He was going to make a few flights. This was actually his second flight of the day. And at 6:30, when he made his initial look up on the weather looked good. So this is the flight path that they took, and the passengers on the aircraft were taking pictures, as you can see here. This is when they took those pictures, and they were found on their cell phones. So very sad here, but this is the first one. So photographer photographed by the passenger of the accident prior to the flight. It's raining already, so the pilot knew that this weather is not good. He just came back from a prior flight, but he did not check the weather to see if anything had changed from 6:30 in the morning. So view of the weather information for the day of the accident revealed conditionally unstable environment below 6,000 feet, which led to rain organizing in bands of shower activity. Satellite imagery depicted these bands moving northward. The FAA weather cameras and everything was showing lower visibility, and mountain obscuration conditions were progressing northward across the accident area at the time, which resulted in IMC before the impact with terrain. So here we're going to the photo taken at 9:48. So things are progressing. Clouds are getting worse here, but we're still pretty early here. 9:48, pretty early in the flight. And then photo taken at 9:48. Moving on, photo taken at 9:50 from the right side of the aircraft. So we're at 9:50. So now we're here. And then they don't take pictures for a while until about 10:41. So now we're at 10:41 from one side, left side of the aircraft, looking okay. 10:42, left side of the aircraft. 10:47, clouds right above their head. So now we're 10:47. We're almost to the time of the crash. Now we're in the clouds, 10:47 and 10:48. And that's the last picture. This is the last picture that was found on the aircraft before it crashed into the terrain. So very sad. This is the aircraft that they went and collected and went over to try to find out as this NTSB was working on this report. The pilot reviewed weather conditions before the flight of the day. However, there was no indication that he obtained updated weather conditions or additional weather information before departing on the accident flight. Like I said earlier, based on interviews, the accident pilot landed following the first flight in lowering visibility, ceiling, and precipitation, and departed on the accident flight in precipitation. Based on passenger photos, therefore, the pilot had knowledge of the weather condition and encountered along the route before its departure. So this is the left side, left wing during examination. I'm surprised how they got this aircraft out in such good shape. I mean, good job on getting this thing to get a good, thorough investigation. The operator had adequate policies and procedures in place for pilots regarding inadvertent encounters with IMC. However, the pilot's training records indicated that he was signed off for Q-based training that did not occur. So crucial. Q-based training is intended to help calibrate pilots' weather assessment and foster their ability to accurately assess and respond to appropriate cues associated with deteriorating weather. So he didn't have that training recently anyway. Had the pilot completed the training, it might have helped improve his decision-making skills to either cancel the flight before departure or turn around earlier in flight. And then here is the aircraft here, horizontal stabilizer. Here's the front. And then pilot information, age of 64-year-old male. Here's all the information that was given. And then the pilot actually had a accident on his record. So FAA showed that the pilot was involved in an accident with another DHC-2 operated by the same operator on July 9th, so like a month earlier at Kaufman Cove, Alaska. FAA records indicate that he did not taxi out of the channel or clear his takeoff run because he was in a hurry to get back due to other flights on the schedule. So that's making me think now it's more of a company thing. Like, you know, is money more important, where this pilot is maybe trying to make these flights to try to keep up with the schedule with the tourists so that they can make more money and things like that. So what I'm trying to figure out is it the company's culture? Like, oh, you know what? We always fly in this type of weather. You can go ahead. It's fine. Was it pilot error? Invulnerability. Many people feel that accidents happen to others, but never to them. They know accidents can happen, but they know that anyone can be affected. They never really feel or believe that they will be personally involved. Pilots who think this way are more likely to take chances. So because this pilot has been flying this area for a long time, he's comfortable, probably been flying in this weather before, maybe a little bit too overconfident, hard to say. The probable cause in finding, NTSB found out that the pilot's decision to continue VFR flight into IMC, which resulted in controlled flight into terrain, contributing to the accident, was the FAA's reliance on voluntary compliance with the Ketchikan operator's letter of agreement. And I guess in Alaska, a lot of times these type of flights been happening. Rules are kind of, I don't know, I guess not really real stringent. So even the NTSB came up 2 years prior to do this Alaska Part 135 flight operations, charting a safer course to try to control these flights because a lot of crashes have been happening in this area. And this was 2 years earlier, and still the number of Part 135 fatality accidents in Alaska is troubling. If the FAA and industry do not address these safety gaps, the Part 135 accident rate in Alaska is unlikely to budge. That was September 6, 2019, 2 years earlier, and it did not budge because this crash happened. And Aviation Law had a meeting. There were numerous panel discussions with industry personnel, the NTSB, FAA officials, as control flight into terrain is a common factor in many Alaska accidents. Control flight into terrain training was considered inadequate, and the needs for improvement were discussed, including more weather monitoring. The extent to which many of these safety recommendations discussed were in fact implemented should certainly be addressed after this most recent accident. And obviously it wasn't enough. Unfortunately, the cruise ship passengers taking these exciting Alaska scenic flights have no idea the accident history or risk involved, while it is becoming all too common as history once again repeats itself with another Southeast Alaska fatal scenic flight accident. Something more must be done. So sad to say, these things keep happening just like in other aviation. That's why I'm doing this channel and many others. We're trying to get awareness to these crashes, and here's one that happened earlier this year in 2022. If you didn't see it, it's the same type of aircraft in Alaska, went down. You can watch it here, and if not, you can subscribe to the channel, help the cause. It's our friend, I'm Keone. I'll see you guys next time.